Hi there, sewing friends. On behalf of uncommonthread.com, I'd like to welcome you to this month's video. We are going to learn about Sulky Ultra-Solvy Stabilizer. My name is Michelle Umloff and I'm a certified Sulky teacher. I'm also going to show you how to create these beautiful freestanding lace ornaments. So the Ultra-Solvy stabilizer is a wash-away stabilizer, and it's made of a clear film that's non-toxic. It's actually made of a polyvinyl alcohol type of substance. The Sulky Solvy family includes Solvy, Super Solvy, and Ultra Solvy. These are just three of the stabilizers within the wash away category. But just so you know, the Solvy is the original stabilizer and it's the lightest weight. Then next we have the Super Solvy stabilizer, and that's about twice as heavy as the regular Solvy. Then we have Ultra Solvy in, and Ultra Solvy is quite thick. It's 4 times the weight of the regular Solvy stabilizer. You can do a lot of interesting things with the Ultra Solvy stabilizer, and I'm going to go over some of the ways that you might go about it later on in this presentation. But if you need to make your piece of Ultra Solvy a little wider or a little longer, one way that you can do that is spritz it with a little bit of water and then place your second layer over top just that section. Or you could fuse 2 layers together with just a warm iron. But remember, you want to save your scraps because you can also use your scraps to create a liquid stabilizer. And a few months ago, I showed you a presentation on Solvy and Super Solvy, and we went over this really cool project where we made a notebook. So you can use the Ultra Solvy in that instance as well. You can draw and trace directly on Ultra Solvy, and it's not affected by the heat of your machine, and therefore it won't gum up your sewing machine needle. The only thing that Solvy is not recommended to use with, or Ultra Solvy, is the Sulky KK2000 temporary spray adhesive. You typically would use the Ultra Solvy as a backing because it is really thick, and you have the Solvy and the Super Solvy that you could use as a topper should you need a topper. You can do computerized embroidery directly on the Ultra Solvy. You can use it to make scarves. You can do lace work. You can use it to stabilize buttonholes, serger lace, and serger crochet. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with Ultra Solvy that you can't necessarily do with the other 2 types of clear film stabilizers. To remove Ultra Solvy, there's 3 methods that you can do. The first one, you can just simply soak it. You want to make sure that you remove the excess stabilizer. Fill a bucket with mild warm water, soak and agitate it for about 15 minutes. You can just discard that water and then repeat that as much as you need. And then you can just lay your piece flat to dry. The second method is by using your washing machine. Sorry, I didn't have a picture of a top-loading wash machine, but you would do the same thing. Remove the excess stabilizer. Fill up your washing machine with just plain water. Add your project to it, and then let this agitate for about 5 minutes. Then you can remove it and let it lay flat to dry. But also, while you're doing this, you can just add some laundry to the water and soap, and then you can do a load of wash while you're at it. Then the third method is what I typically do, because a lot of things are small, is just with running water. Remove the excess stabilizer beforehand. Hold your project under the running water, and oftentimes I'll agitate it a little bit and lay it flat to dry. You definitely want to use Ultra Solvy stabilizer in instances where you do not want any stabilizer left behind, and then you better make sure that your fabric can safely get wet without spotting. Store Ultra Solvy inside a Ziploc bag and place it in an area that's dry and it's away from heat and humidity. Ultra-Solvy is available in a variety of sizes to include a 1-yard package, a 3-yard package, an 8 and 12-inch roll, and also a bolt. I'm also going to take a moment to tell you about polyester invisible thread. This is a very fine monofilament thread. It is like hair. It's so fine. It's very soft and flexible, and you can use it in the top of your machine and or in the bobbin. It's available in smoke and clear and comes in 2 different sizes, 440 yards or on the snap spool and 2,200 yards are on the king spool. That's a lot of thread. A little bit of the polyester invisible thread goes a very long way. When you use the polyester invisible thread, you want to use a needle like 1175, 1280, or a 1490. It's safe to iron the polyester invisible thread up to the cotton setting. When working with the polyester invisible thread, you want to wind a bobbin slowly and only about halfway. I know a lot of times it's tempting to fill up your bobbins, but like I said before, this thread goes a long way. So let's get ready to talk about making freestanding lace ornaments. This is the time of the year that I do most of my freestanding lace and ornaments, and I just really like making these. You're going to need some Sulky Ultra-Solvy stabilizer and experiment and have fun. Use a variety of the Sulky threads that are available. Remember, you have the 30 weight cotton or cotton blendable threads. You have 40 weight rayon or polyester to choose from. Then there's the metallics, Holoshimmer, and sliver threads as well. And don't forget about the polyester invisible thread. I'll tell you about that a little later. Generally, you would use a 1490 Topstitch metallic or embroidery needle, and especially for what I'm going to show you today, that's what size you'll use. And you'll need a freestanding lace design, also known as FSL if you see that anywhere, and a bucket of water, or you can remove this in one of the other ways that I showed you how. So remember, when you shop at uncommonthread.com, you save 20% off retail prices every single day, and that is a really good deal. So the freestanding lace ornaments. You want to find an ornament from your favorite embroidery resource, and for our purposes today I went to Embroidery Library at www.emblibrary.com and downloaded design number 431556. So I downloaded that from the internet and I used my embroidery software and I transferred it to my machine. That's just a condensed version of how that goes. I think everybody has a little bit of a different system for transferring designs from their computer to their machine. So make sure you know how to do that, and if you don't, check with your dealer. They can tell you how to do that, or you can check your manual. To save time, money, and stabilizer, we all like to do that. Load as many designs that will fit into your embroidery hoop. So I am using a large embroidery hoop and I can fit 3 designs in here. Just notice that the center ornament I had to turn upside down and it all fit in there very nicely. You're going to hoop just 1 layer of the Sulky Ultra-Solvy stabilizer. Yes, just 1 layer. This stabilizer is just so thick and durable that it will handle up to those 3 embroideries on there. It would probably handle more, but for today I just embroidered 3 designs on this. So thread your machine with any type of the Sulky decorative threads and experiment. Try using 2 different types of thread. You can do that. You can thread 2 different types of thread at the top of your machine, and then you want to wind a bobbin with just one of those colors. Push start and let your machine do all the work for you. This is really one of the easiest types of embroidery to do because there's no color changes and you can set your machine up, get it started, and it will sew for, it might take an hour to do this design depending on how fast you set your sewing machine to stitch. So I wanted to show you this picture, and it's not the greatest picture, but what I did is I stitched this ornament out 3 times using 2 different types of thread and then combining those threads. So on the left hand side you see I used regular rayon thread. Then on the right hand side I used sliver thread. And in the center I combined both the rayon and the sliver thread, and that was the 30 weight rayon thread that I used. And it stitched out beautifully. It was just so nice. Once you're finished sewing, remember to cut your jump stitches, and you can see where I drew the little lines. Then you're going to unhoop the stabilizer and cut away the excess Ultra-Solvy. Now, I really didn't have to cut away the Ultra-Solvy. I discovered that it was kind of already perforated, so I could just gently tear out my ornaments, and it was very easy to do. Then you're just going to take this to the sink or use one of the other methods and let running water go over it, or whatever you're going to do, until all the Ultra-Solvy stabilizer is gone. And it takes quite a while because it is very, very thick. I just can't emphasize that enough. And just add embellishments to your lace design and hang it on your tree, and it looks great. So I just want to give you some tips and reminders for embroidering out the freestanding lace. You want to make sure that you use the appropriate size needle for the thread type that you are using. And then when you use a 40 weight rayon, when you use something else, keep in mind that you may need to adjust the density of the design. Now that's because all machines are kind of like set, or all the embroidery designs are set or created with 40 weight rayon thread in mind. When you start changing the thread and using something that's a little thicker or a little smaller, you need to change the density of the design so it stitches out right. So, and then if you can't change the density of your design, say you switch to a thicker thread, then you're going to probably have to consider changing to a larger needle if you cannot decrease the density on your own. So for example, I stitched out the rayon in 40 weight, the 40 weight rayon ornament. And then later on I did another ornament using 30 weight cotton blendables. Because I could not change the density of the design, I increased the size of my needle so the thread wouldn't break. So if you're using metallic threads, in general you want to use a 1490 Topstitch metallic or embroidery needle. If you find that you're working with a 1490 Topstitch needle and that's not working for you, switch to one of the other types of needles. That would be the metallic or the embroidery needle. You need to lower the top tension, and that's true even if you're sewing on a computerized sewing machine. You will have to lower the top tension. You can test it first, and I highly encourage that, but just keep in mind you possibly might need to lower it. If you're working with Holoshimmer and sliver threads, those threads need to be on a vertical spool pin. And you want to set your embroidery machine to stitch out at a slower speed. And I suggest when using the metallic threads to have a bottle of the thread lubricant handy, even if you only use it on the eye of your needle. I know a lot of our dealers don't like us to use this thread lubricant, and the sewing machine that I used in this presentation actually threads itself. So there's like a lot of little sensors within the path that the thread has to go through to thread itself, and my dealer does not like me to use thread lubricant. So what I do is I apply a drop or two of the thread lubricant directly on the needle itself, and that worked great. So you can use freestanding lace for a lot of different things. You can use it to trim your Christmas tree. You can give them away as gifts because they're just beautiful in and of themselves. Or you can use it as a tag on one of your Christmas presents or any type of present. You can use them and combine them to create doilies or jewelry. Use it as a sun catcher in a window or embellish your clothing. I know for a fact if you go to Embroidery Library, they have a variety of ideas and so many different types of freestanding lace. So my name is Michelle Umloff and I am the owner of SewSimplified.com. If you have any questions about this presentation, you can email Uncommon Threads, but visit my website. And I would like to encourage you to become one of my sewing friends. When you do so, you will receive access to an online class that I have available called Not Your Grandma's Bowl. I also do a podcast, and you can find me on iTunes as the Sew Simplified Podcast. And look me up on Facebook. I have a lot of great things coming up for 2014 that I'm just so excited to share. So remember to shop at uncommonthread.com for all of your sewing needs. Uncommonthread.com offers 20% off retail every single day, and they carry the full line of Sulky products. They carry a nice line of the Schmetz needles and a variety of other threads and supplies as well. So if you have any questions, email uncommonthread@comporium.net and visit us at www.uncommonthread.com. We're also on Facebook, and you'll have to do a search of uncommonthread.com and give us a like there.